Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep. Your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to this Friday edition of Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep. I'm Spencer Israel, here with Joel Elconin and Dennis Dick. Of course, you know we have to talk about the sell-off yesterday. What are in a continuing series of days where we just have a ton of earnings reports. So, Amazon, Intel, Starbucks, there's like 400. We'll talk about as many as we can. Plus, today is the last day before Snapchat's lockup expiration over the weekend, so maybe we'll discuss that as well. Joel, how's it going in the markets right now?
We're in the red. We're in the red. We've been in the red since the opening bell. You had a close at 72 even. Your first print right there at 72 even. Pre-market low, 61.50. Yesterday low is the big number, folks, 57. That's on the downside. That also matches perfectly with your July 19th low. Crude, can't blame crude for the sell-off here. Crude futures are trading up a nickel here over $49 at $49.05. Let's look at the daily chart, see if we can get that all significant $50 psychological level. And gold trading here down a buck, 1265.60. Not really a big flight to quality yesterday in the gold market, but certainly a nice rally since you hit the lower 1200s. Good morning, Dennis. How you doing on this Friday? You must have a big smile on your face. There's volatility back in the market.
Like the volatility, yeah. And, you know, the two-day move here working to a charm again. We keep talking about that, but let's look, you know, if you were shorting tech stocks at the close saying, hey, I think there's going to be some people that are spooked, and obviously Amazon helped that a little bit from a fundamental perspective, but really, you know, the S&P futures, you could have shorted a lot of tech stocks even after Amazon had reported, and they really weren't down that much, and they are now. I mean, if you bring up Facebook, it's down another buck here this morning. You bring up NVIDIA, it's down $2 this morning. AMD was trading higher last night, and it's trading down here now. Those two-day moves work, you know, and I'm going to keep preaching it to you guys, and hopefully some people made some money on it by shorting tech stocks at the close, because we had the tech rack yesterday, and the follow-through comes here this morning.
Yeah, and just looking at this Facebook, I mean, you could construe that move from yesterday in a lot of different ways. Just unabashed buying in the pre-market, 179.21, and we kind of talk about those levels. If you see those levels, follow through them. In this point, Facebook never even came close to seeing that pre-market high of 179.21. In fact, you opened up at 445. You did have a buck rally, so if you tried to short the open, you had to be scratching your head. You definitely took some heat, but coming back down through that open strategy we talk about a lot of times, you're shorting to that 74.5 level, stop up at 75.5, and you had a good day. But let's move into the big earnings report, which also had some crazy price action in middle of the day. And Dennis, could it just been that someone wanted out of a piece ahead of the report? And with this kind of liquidity and volume that you have, if you really want to sell a piece in Amazon during the day, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, look at that intraday move.
Somewhat, but it was the tech wreck just coming in there too. I mean, you had every tech stock. The chart looks the same. Around 11:30, you know, the stocks just started to catch some selling pressure there. I would just call it profit taking,
okay.
But they all rolled over. I mean, you can look at NVIDIA, same time, 11:30 went from 166 in about an hour and a half. We went from 166 in NVIDIA down to 158. In Apple, we went from about 153 in an hour and a half down to 147. What's going on there? Holy cow, that was a big move in Apple. So it's not surprising that Amazon, you say, oh, but Amazon's 40 points. It's a $1,000 stock, and it's going to report, so it's going to be more volatile, and it was up significantly on the day, you know, at that time. I mean, I think you had people just banking that they were buying this thing ahead of the report no matter what. And that's what was happening in the morning. And people started coming in here with a little bit of selling pressure. And anybody who bought that before 11 o'clock got absolutely murdered if you didn't get out quickly, because it turned around on a dime. And it was ugly. And obviously, you know, the reports come out here now. Spencer, we'll throw this to you now. Give us the details from the report. But we're obviously down another 30 points there after the report.
All right, Amazon reported a Q2 EPS of 40 cents versus $1.78 in the same quarter of last year. Sales of Sales of $38 billion versus a $37 billion estimate. So the EPS year over year, bit of a drop. We did see their quarterly profit. It was the same as Dr. Pepper, right? Because they just spend so much money.
Dr. Pepper? How'd you bring the Dr. Pepper?
It was the same. They had the same quarterly profit as Dr. Pepper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, Amazon's never been concerned with the bottom line. They've always been concerned with just growing the top line. And it was an interesting article. Where's Nicky D there? Nick Donato, is he out there? Because I saw this tweet go by yesterday.
Yep.
Is he already on the
Nick.
desk?
Nick's around. What's up?
Yeah,
Nick, this tweet, and I don't know if you can grab him or not, but that tweet he tweeted out yesterday. Ask him about that tweet.
hold on, we're going to put him on for 1 second.
Throw him on there. Get
All right,
Nicky D.
All right, Nick, you threw a tweet out yesterday. What was that tweet about?
On Amazon.
About Amazon?
The article from the year 2000.
Yes. So it was a journalist in 2000 who said that Jeff Bezos belonged in La La Land and that he was, I think the word he used was an imbecile, and he needed to get Jeff Bezos and the rest of the board out. It was some guy from Gainesville, I believe, Florida, in 2000, and it was just a super negative article. So I tweeted at him
On Amazon.
Yeah, and
Amazon was basically going under.
Is
This was in the year 2000.
So Dennis, do you think
Stock
that's
was down to $30.
is that the coldest take ever in the finance?
It was cold. You
Oh, my
tweeted that
God.
out, and I was like, holy cow. Some analysts really called out Amazon, saying basically the company was garbage. Jeff Bezos didn't know what he was doing. This was in the year 2000.
I was
17 years. I wonder if that analyst got fired.
Dennis. I was looking up like articles from him afterward. He's a freelance guy now, and I just think that was just
He's a freelancer, right? Right.
Can
I
you
think that
post
call ruined his career.
article in our chat, Nick?
Yes.
Just, or post a link to your tweet at least so that people can read it, because it was interesting. I laughed out loud when I was like reading that. I was like, whoa, somebody was dead wrong. But what he was focused on, what this analyst was focused on back then, was the fact that he says this company's not making money. They're burning cash. I don't care if they're growing the bottom line. I mean, here's Amazon 17 years later. They're still doing the same thing. They're well, they're not maybe burning cash or cash, but they're not worried about growing the bottom line. They're worried about growing the top line. If they turned around though on Amazon and they wanted to grow that bottom line, they could in a hurry.
So
But they're
Dennis, do you think
concerned
that
with
makes the
top line.
case for Tesla then? It's kind of like the same thing.
Tesla's different though. I mean, Amazon is selling so
okay.
much. Tesla isn't growing the top line really. I mean, they're trying maybe eventually here, but their top line's just so small relative to what a valuation is. That makes it tricky. But there's been arguments and some good arguments for Tesla, and maybe eventually Tesla dominates a lot more markets than just the car market.
I can't
maybe that is the argument for Tesla.
I can't wait to post this audio in 15 years.
I'm just saying, I'm not going to say anything more bad about Tesla because I've talked bad about Tesla a lot of times on the show, and it's been put back in my face because it continues to climb. It was my brother-in-law's friend asked me about Tesla a couple of years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, and the stock was about 220. And I was like, you know what? From a valuation, it was like 200. So from valuation, I was like, I don't think it makes sense. It just doesn't make sense when you look at the other car companies and it's worth just as much. What's 334 now? So I've been wrong. I'll call myself out.
I'm copy and pasting this
everything
whole
right
thing
on this show. We do some things right, but Tesla, I've been dead wrong on the whole time. And now I've stopped commenting on it because obviously it's from a valuation perspective, to me it makes no sense, but value sometimes doesn't matter. Maybe if they can continue to grow that top line like Amazon did, maybe if they just focus there, and maybe if they do eventually dominate more markets than just the car market, maybe there's something there, but I'm not banking my money on it.
Dennis, guess who we're going to have in the office next Wednesday ahead of Tesla's report?
Elon Musk.
No. Elon wanted to come, but we had already booked this other guest.
Jason Raznick.
No.
These are good guesses.
All right, we'll give you another hint. Tuesday is also Apple earnings, so he's coming.
Gene, you got Gene coming.
He's coming
He's
here.
coming to the world headquarters.
Gene Munster.
He's coming to the Benzinga HQ Wednesday late morning.
Awesome.
You coming in?
And Gene's a market mover. You gotta listen to what he says because he moves price. I mean, when he comes on, and he's been on our show a number of times, obviously, and when he's on CNBC, he moves the price. So you've got to really pay attention to what Gene says.
All right, this is our biggest
Nick.
digression
That was a
ever
good
from
article.
Amazon earnings. 1001.08. That's your pre-market low. You're sitting $12 above it. I say you get into triple digits today. I think you get down to the double bottom you had from the 13th and 14th at 995.90, 996.89. Dennis, wager triple digits today. You see a triple digits print in Amazon today.
There's going to be enough volatility, and it's only $13 away. I mean, you could get that in the opening bar because it's going to be volatile when the real liquidity comes in. So I can't bet against that just because it's so close to it. Yeah. I do think you have some support down there. I mean, we bounced. That's where we were in the pre-market. What, 1,001 pre-market low?
Yeah.
After hours low?
Yeah, 1,000.
So you got the after hours low. Remember when we had the washout day 3 or 4 days ago or whatever when they, there was an investigation or last week. And they got down that 1,002, 1,003 area after hours as well. I mean, there's some support down there around the 1,000. There's probably some options. We are on a weekly expiration here. It's probably some options and open interest down at that 1,000 as well. So I do think you'll have some support there. Can we trade through it? I think we possibly can. I don't know, though. I'm hard to get bearish, this company. I mean, this is, something that people are looking to buy on the dip. It's your classic, the buy the dippers. And this is one stock that people do look, at, okay, and is it a dip? It's a dip from yesterday's high, which was up at 1083, but really, we're just back to the price we were 5 days ago.
All right, so let's move into another report with just a little bit of price action here. And we had Mark Chaikin talking about this stock yesterday, StarBucks. Now, how is that for some after-hours action, Dennis? Did you touch that thing or not?
You know what? I tried to actually trade it, and it looked like give us the numbers first, Spencer, and then I'll analyze the tape after hours there.
Q3 adjusted EPS 55 cents, in line with the estimate. Sales of 5.7 versus a $5.75 billion estimate, so not so bad. Q3 comps up 4%, so not terrible. But I did hear on the conference call the CEO said it's a challenging retail environment.
And that's what probably hit it afterwards. So I'm looking at this report, just the top line numbers, and thinking, I think it's a sell. And it, starts going down to $58. So, but it's chopping around a lot. So I throw out, I'm going to get short at settlement around 59.5. The chop's all the way down to 57.60, and I'm still sitting out there at 59.5. And then it starts coming back up and bids start growing. I was like, you know what? I'm like, oh, this thing's going to go positive. So I pull my 59.50 offer because I was sitting out there offering it after hours thinking, if it got back to settlement, I would sell it on some chop. And I'm like, I feel like it's going higher. So you just tell by the tape. And that's just classic, 18 years of tape reading there that made me feel like it's going higher. Although I didn't have the guts to turn around and go long it because I did not like the report. Anyways, I'm glad I pulled my offer because not only 59.50, you could say, oh, it would have been good. It's at 55.50 this morning. There's no way I was holding through this, though. 59.5 goes, 60 goes, 60.5 goes, 61 goes, 62 goes. This goes up to 62.99. On a report that's not even great, the stock is trading up $3.50 this time. I was like, wow. I'm like, this market is just crazy. Anyways, then it tanks and goes all the way back down to settlement again, down to 59.5, and then just kind of hangs out there for a bit. And then we had the conference call and those comments that Spencer just said, and obviously the stock's weaker now. Now it's down $4, but we got up to 62.99 last night on disappointing numbers. Crazy market.
And you had a 62.48 high on June 9th, so you even would have took some heat on that. 55.44, that's your pre-market low, and you're just kind of hanging here. I mean, someone is trying to bring in some stock. You made a low at 55.45 before, but holy, we're almost back at the low of the move. I see a double bottom just under 50. There's a couple different double bottom patterns here. One at 55.5, which is holding right now, and then another double bottom at the 55 even level. So I'll keep an eye on those. But I don't know if, Dennis, if you were listening yesterday when we had Mark Chaikin on, but definitely bearish this stock. And he said something that I think only a person that's been on Wall Street for a long time would make this kind of comment. And what he said was they announced. You see the news that they announced yesterday morning, acquiring remaining shares of East China joint venture to operate all Starbucks in mainland China. Okay, and that's good news, and that's what got the stock, moving up yesterday. But he said, yeah, I think they're doing that because, they might not have such a great report. Why did they just do those both at the same time, right? It wouldn't have had nearly the same effect as what he said on the conference call. So there's just a little bit of a Wall Street experience, seeing what a company puts out in the morning and then seeing what they put out in the afternoon.
Yeah, it was some great commentary, and it was a great interview from yesterday. And obviously, if it's taped, if anybody wants to go listen to the Mark Chaikin interview, He's always got some good info there. He's using, some different analysis than we do typically on the show. And, you had this one right. Bearish Starbucks down $4, so good job, Mark Chaikin.
All right. What's next on the earnings parade here?
Let's go to Baidu. This one was wild last night, and it is still wild here this morning. It's still up 10 points. It was up over 15 at one point last night. Stock just has been on a tear, and I mean, this stock is now approaching. We're still ways away from all-time highs here, obviously, on Baidu, which was up over 250, but we're on the comeback trail, and this is a stock that during the flash crash of August 2015, the stock got $100 right on the nose. Obviously, that was, just down there just for a few seconds, so you can't almost got to strike those prints from the tape, even though they were real and even though it really did trade there. But, the next, week we got down to 130, so we, have been on the comeback trail here for Baidu for a while, and, it was running up into the report, but these numbers, they blew it away, Spencer. We say when the stocks run up into the report, they got to blow it away. Baidu blew it away.
Numbers for you: $1.67 versus $1.51. Sales of 3.079. Bill versus 3.08. So slight miss there, slightest of miss on the sales, but they blew it away on the EPS. They see their Q3 sales at the estimate was 3.43 billion, and they're about in line with that.
Did we just get Exxon numbers before we come back?
I thought we didn't have them before this.
Maybe we did.
Let's take a look.
It's down 2% now. It's really starting to fall now, which is why it just tripped a filter for me.
It came down to 8, so I don't know.
Yeah, but it just tripped a filter for me, so I wasn't looking at the news because I'm on the radio show. But okay, we'll come back to ExxonMobil in a second. ExxonMobil's getting killed. Back to the Baidu, BIDU. We're up 10 points here, Joel. Getting a big pop. The big pop after hours last night. Break it down for us.
I'll just give you 1670. That's your pre-market high. I'll kind of go with your Facebook scenario. Like, if you don't get up to 1670 in a heartbeat, maybe look for some kind of reverse trading action. If, in fact, you can blow through that level, 220 is just kind of sticking out on the charts here. But there's some major price discovery going on right here at the 212 level, so I use that as a swing level. But for right now, it looks like finding some resistance there at 212, pre-market high 1670.
Okay, jumping back to the Exxon numbers, give us those. Stock is trading down $2. This is through critical support, really. $80 has been holding there. I guess you could call 79.76 almost a perfect double bottom. 79.81 from the two lows in July, but we are through that right now. ExxonMobil, despite having a nice dividend on it, that stock is still starting to get the beats here. And oil's come back somewhat, but Exxon's hanging out right near the lows.
78 cents versus an 84-cent estimate. Sales of 62.88 for $61.9 billion. So they beat on the sales, but they missed on the EPS, and you are seeing it drop below that 52-week low just now.
Nice job.
What do you think? Those two lows in June were challenging that too, Joel. Here, this is concerning here for ExxonMobil, is it not?
I mean, challenging. I mean, 70. I was just going to give you the low, the number of the day, 79.26, right there. You had a couple daily lows there. One was 79.26. The other was 79.40. I mean, even give it. I mean, if you're trying to pick a bottom in here, that's the area that you want to keep an eye on. I was looking at this the last time it dipped under 80, and I was thinking, well, where's the next stopping point? And I looked on the weekly chart, and it just doesn't look good. You had a big handle here from 77.50 to 80. I don't think this is going to go there today, but absolutely crucial for this to get back above that former low of the move, and even more importantly, maybe close above $80. But not a good report. And is Chevron out yet?
I think 8:30. Chevron usually comes at 8:30.
So are you getting down and dirty in that one, Dennis? Or you going to hold
ahead
off?
of the report?
Well, they just said it.
I don't think I can do it because sometimes it just all depends on numbers here. I mean, Exxon missed and it's going down, but this thing's just been hanging out. If they do come out and beat, it could go up, even though Exxon's going down. Sometimes you see these things going opposite direction. Somebody's hitting Chevron ahead of the report, though, on the Exxon numbers. Not a ton of stock is trading, only 2,800 shares, but it's trading down cents here, probably because somebody's speculating that Chevron might disappoint if Exxon just disappointed.
Brester says they usually come out right at 8:30.